Hello, hello. My name's Brie and I'm from the Alt Journal, and tonight I'm joined with the one and only Jono.
Hello.
We are at Max Watts tonight for your biggest headline show to date.
Correct.
Yes. How are you feeling about that?
I'm nervous. I mean, it's been very cool, like, this whole tour. Every city that we've played in, it's been, like, the biggest room that we've done to date. But this one is the biggest on paper, and it's one of the first shows I can go back and remember. It was, like, when we finally did this room, it was, like, it was the Void of Vision tour. It was 2022, maybe?
Yes. Yeah.
And we were the opening band on that lineup, and we did this room, and it had a lot of weight to it. So
this
has been the one that we've been all looking forward to the most.
Absolutely. That's so full circle as well with Jack Bergin.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I saw you discussing the meaning behind the album title In the Light We Chase, and you sort of touched on how it has like this nostalgic aspect behind it. I thought that was really beautiful. It when I re-listened to the album, made me look at it in a whole new light. I was just like wondering if you had any certain moments in your life that have sort of reflected in this album, like any moments on the record.
It's less. I guess it's less about like particular memories and moments, and for me, it's very tied to places.
Yeah, wow.
There's a lot of like little nods throughout the album of like Glen Street, Belrose, all these like actual places. Even the video for Keep You, we shot that at like the local youth center where I started going to shows at, and like there used to be like a primary school fireworks carnival thing, and we shot it at that field, and there were a lot of like subtle nods to this. Between the five of us in the band, we all have we all grew up in the same area, we have a lot of shared childhood experiences. So I think for us, this album, obviously we all have our own different memories and moments that have seeped into the record as well, but I think between the five of us holistically, it was kind of a love letter to this place that we grew up.
Wow,
I think one of my favorite anecdotes from all of it is the artwork for the album is sort of like it's a tree that's been sort of, it's like a filmy sort of warped image. That tree is around the corner from where I used to catch the bus from school. So it's so just like we went and did this whole photo day around the area that we grew up, and I hadn't been there in over a decade. So it was really cool to go and sort of take a trip down memory lane.
That's really incredible. That's really cool to know. It's all about the album art. I really like that. Well, like you said, you guys grew up together. How did you all meet, and whose idea was it to start the band? Yeah,
so we all me, Jared, and Andrew all went to the same high school. And we met Oliver through just that local band community. It feels like so long ago, but like youth center shows and all ages shows, especially in the area in Sydney where we grew up, that was, multiple times a month. I'd be going to these youth center shows 2-3 times a month, and we all just met each other through music. Jack we met through a local film festival and was a friend of a friend, and the first time we met him, he's wearing an American football t-shirt, and it was very like serendipitous. Everything kind of fell into place. The actual starting of the band was I was studying an audio degree at the time. This is my first year out of high school, and we had access to these like studio facilities as a part of the degree. And I didn't really have much interest in recording bands. I wanted to like write music and play music. So me and Jared would go to the studio and, muck around for a little bit and track a demo, and it would sound like shit. And I think because we had that friendship already, we kind of just brought our friends into the fold. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, we could be a real band, and like we could write our own music and not just do covers and all of that. And that was 8-9 years ago.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Once again, very, very full circle.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sick.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the collabs on the album, I did actually want to touch on that.
For sure.
I mean, you have like Patrick Miranda and Mikaila Delgado, and like I mentioned, Jack Bergin. That's insane. What's it like working with those artists and putting together a track together, like songwriting and recording wise?
It's really cool because there's kind of like, you look at the album and the features that we have, and there's kind of almost like the two categories of it's like the people that like Pat Miranda for us is such a hugely inspirational. The song Keep You, the working title for that was Daylily. Before we even had the idea of having Pat on the song, before we even knew that was in the realm of possibility, that was kind of like, working its magic in the background. Mick and Jack are close friends of ours that we've just gotten along with and met through music and touring.
Incredible.
And that's been really special. We collaborated with them. They came into the studio and we wrote their parts together, and at no point there was no ego, there was no like transactional nature of it all. It was just kind of writing music with friends.
Wow.
The Pat Miranda side though, like we owe full credit to our label who made that happen. We said we want a feature, and our absolute biggest, long shot goal would be Pat Miranda. And they said,
there you go.
Cool, here you go.
Dude.
And then a couple of days later, I'm texting him and I was, oh my God. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's so sick. You guys fall into a bit of a niche subgenre with your sound being like melodic metalcore. How do you find yourself when you sit down to write new music? How do you find yourself evolving within that sound and keeping it fresh?
I think we all have a lot of different influence, and I think with every release we gain that little bit more confidence in things that we've experimented previously. I guess if you look at our first album, Maybe Another Life, you've got heavy songs, you've got soft songs, but it's still kind of contained.
Yeah.
And then you look at The Light We Chase, and it kind of feels like we just pushed the boundaries of that a little further. We did an acoustic song, we did a song with like a ridiculous like double drop, breakdown octave sort of nonsense. And I think we just kind of back ourselves, and the fans that we've gathered along the way, they kind of fuck with the stuff that we do that is not like your typical release.
Yeah.
And that kind of just inspires us to keep going as well. It's funny when we start a project, the Bloom methodology at this point is we bring like 20, 30 demos. Some of them will be fully written songs. Some of them will be like a riff, an idea in a Dropbox.
Yeah.
And we'll just sit in the room. We did this album with Sammy Basal, who drums in Ocean Grove. He produces Thornhill, Void of Vision, yours truly.
Incredible.
An absolute gun.
Yes.
I remember sitting in the room with him, and we would go through 20, 30 demos, and we would kind of pick out like, okay, this one's good, like there's more to work from here, or like maybe let's scrap this one, or maybe we can pull bits from it. And then we'd assign like a vibe or an emotion to it. And it was like, okay, well, if we're gonna do this, and we knew the concept of the album, we kind of knew the themes we wanted to touch on. It's like, well, we need to have a couple of songs that are more withdrawn and emotional instrumental, and we need to have stuff that's angry, and we need to have stuff that's like more like emotionally charged. And we kind of built the puzzle piece in the room all together, which was a cool way of doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really, really unique. And I think that translates really well into like, once again, like a listening experience. It's incredibly emotional and vulnerable.
I'm glad to hear it.
Really cool to hear. Well, you guys also, like, talking about killing it, like, you guys just went on a massive, like, US and Europe run. Silverstein and Free Throw, one of my favorites as well. Like,
they are such good dudes. That was so much fun.
That would have been incredible. Yeah. What was that like, touring overseas? Was that like very eye-opening, performing for different audiences?
Well, it was the second time we'd done America, and the first time we went over there, it was you kind of find your footing, and you kind of you don't really know. And we've been very fortunate that we have a couple of songs that have done pretty well on the Spotify and whatever. And when we head over to the States, there's a few people that are already familiar with the band, and they kind of care about the band. So it was really cool coming back the second time. We flew from Europe straight into the American tour. So we were gone for about 3 months.
Damn.
I think we did 44 shows between the Thornhill tour in Europe straight into Silverstein.
Yeah.
And that was really cool doing America again, because it was a different audience.
Yeah.
We toured with Silverstein in Europe earlier in the year as well. So we kind of already had that relationship with them. We kind of knew what their fan base was like. And, it's a band that's celebrating 25 years of their band. So of course their fan base is generally an older demographic. It's people that have grown up through like emo, and it was fun that we got to come out and be like the heavy band on the bill, and like the metalcore, like we all look really young as well, so it's like rooting for children.
The fresh meat.
exactly. But that was really fun, and it was cool to be in the States over Christmas as well, like an American winter. And I'm a big fan of giant soda and fast food, so like, America's pretty fucked, but they do fast food pretty good, and big sodas.
What was the best fast food you got there? I ask everyone who goes to the States.
I really fuck with Shake Shack, because it's kind of a sleeper pick. Like you do like In and Out, and you have like a high expectation because everyone says In and Out's going to be amazing. But I really like Shake Shack. I really like Raising Cane's. I really like Popeyes. I'm a connoisseur of this.
Okay, last food related question. What was Arby's like? Did you try Arby's?
I've not. I won't. Yeah, you could not pay me. It's funny. We when you're touring America, you tend to sleep at gas stations a lot.
Yeah.
And we have like a one brand of gas station that's our like we're loyal to. And the usual American assortment is you'll have like the gas station, and then you'll have like a 24-hour fast food joint attached to it. And every fucking time we'd pull up at these Love's travel stops, it'd be an Arby's, and it would be just like the most disgusting like ham stack, and I couldn't do it at no point.
Fair.
Yeah,
that's very fair. Do you have any particular moments that happened on that tour that you've been thinking about a lot since you've been back?
Yeah, there were a lot of, there's a couple of different things that I kind of break it down to when I'm looking back on a tour. It's like you have the shows and like what shows were memorable, and then what are the extracurricular activities that we did that were fun as well. We played a show, it was the last day of that tour, and it was this beautiful venue in Brooklyn, like heart of the city, and it was like, I want to say 3,000 capacity. It was very similar to the Forum here in Melbourne, but like America-ified, like marble and very high-end fancy. And that was the last show of tour, and that was you know, we were playing in New York on the 20th of December, where it's like Christmas, and
that's insane.
It was that's probably the best show we've ever played, at least outside of Australia. Yeah. And then as for other memorable things, we're big sports people as well. We love our American sports, so we were able to go to an NBA game. We went to a hockey game. Sick, just kind of being around, and we drove it ourselves, which was just
that would have been incredible.
It's a beautiful way to like see the country and the interstate system of America and all of that. So that was really special.
Me, absolutely. What has been like the biggest holy shit we've made it moment thus far in your career?
I don't think there's been a particular holy shit we've made it moment, because I think unfortunately in this game, like the goalposts always move. You knock one goal off and then it's chasing the next. But I think the moment that I had in the last 12 months of this band where it was like stop and smell the roses was when we were in Europe prior to going to the States. The album came out. We had an off day in Paris, and we got to just pull up on a picnic rug in front of the Eiffel Tower. We drank champagne. We had a little cheese board.
So cute.
I had steak twice that day. It was like
treating yourself.
Yeah, it was cool to have like almost like a rostered day of like, no, we get to like just celebrate today, and that was very like. There's no better. You could not paint a better picture of like a way to celebrate. You're surrounded by your friends. You're in front of the Eiffel Tower in the city of love. It was very special.
That's incredible. That's really, really cool. Well, I've got one last question for you. When the audience comes in tonight and all is said and done, at the end of the night, what would you want them to take away from your set?
Well, I think the big takeaway and what separates this tour from the rest of everything else that we have coming up and what we've done in the past is this is the first and probably the only time that we're going to play the record, every song from the record. So I think for people who are fans of the band, or maybe they haven't seen us in a while, or they haven't seen us since we got back from our Eternal tour, I really hope they see the little 1%, the 2% that we've put into our live show to improve ourselves, the things that we've picked up from the incredible bands that we've toured with and how we've implemented that into ourselves. It is a weeknight, so I hope that everybody goes to work tomorrow and has sore limbs. If they if they have ailments, I've done my job correctly. But yeah, I hope for people who are fans of the band, and maybe the people that have seen us before, can come into this and take away like, oh man, like this band has leveled up. Yeah, that's so awesome. Well, thank you so much for such a wonderful and insightful conversation. I feel like I've learned so much. Hell yeah. And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye. Bye.